Hi everybody, Laura here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have a fun project to share with you featuring the Cara Medallion Stencil Pack. This is one of the Kristina Werner new November release products. There are six 6x9 stencils. These are large, so you could make two cards. If you blended like a half panel of cardstock, cut it just in half, and blend a whole entire panel, you could make two cards for the work of one. I'm only going to make one because I'm not really a mass producing type of gal. So I just wanted to make one. But you could certainly do what I'm doing and make two panels. I have a panel of Hammermill white cardstock cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm using my grid mat to help me on this. So I'm going to pick a corner where I put my stencil, and wherever I lay that down, I'm going to make a little mark with some Post-it tape. And that way I know every time when I go to use a new stencil, I'm going to line it up in this corner here. So I put a little Post-it tape on the bottom and a little Post-it tape on the side. And this is just like a little makeshift corner reference point. And then I'm going to get to blending. I'm using Concord 9th inks. I'm using Rainbow Splash blender brushes. And I'm going like this here. Now this is a very cool, I would recommend going full throttle on the blending. There's not enough space to really do gradient love in this type of situation. But you could. I could see. So this is Honeysuckle ink. And you could maybe take a little poppy ink and go a little bit in the center if you wanted to do like a two-tone action. I'm just doing one color per stencil. I'm on the next. I don't think these are numbered, so it doesn't really matter which order you go. And I know Kristina has some examples showing different color combinations. There's even some examples on the back of the packaging, and you really can get some different looks depending on the colors that you choose. Now I'm blending Poppy. Didn't really have a plan. I was just pulling out colors willy-nilly. These are kind of like my favorite colors. Honeysuckle and Poppy. And by the way, I don't know if this has been said, but I feel like Kristina Werner stencils are elite quality. They are elite quality stencils. I don't know. They just feel nice. Again, I'm on the third stencil, butted it up down in that bottom left corner, and this time I'm going in with Grapefruit. Now, I'm not sure. I think some of my ink pads might need to be re-inked. This one here, I had to work a little harder. Poppy always just kind of slaps you across the face. It's always juicy to me. Grapefruit sometimes feels a little drier, but I think I do use it a lot because I love this light peachy color. Anywho, going all around with the Grapefruit. That is the third color. Okay, fourth stencil, fourth color. This time I'm doing a little Stardust, which is, from the beginning, I remember, I'll never forget this, years ago when Concord 9th, when I first met Greg, and it was at one of those Creativation, like huge conferences, and I was helping out at a Pink Fresh Studio booth, and they were kind of new, and they had a booth across the way, and they were introducing all their new colors, and immediately Stardust was my favorite color. Still to this day, I think it is. I love that chartreusey, and it's kind of dusty. And anywho, sea glass is another favorite. Probably use it. I would say sea glass gets the most use. To me, sea glass is a neutral. I don't know if you're like this, and I know I'm a little bit cuckoo, but colors have like personalities to me, and sea glass is one of those just personalities that is just compliant and goes with anyone, goes with the flow. Sea glass is here to make you happy. There we have it. I love how this turned out. It makes you look like you're better than you are. Okay, we're going to do a sentiment. This is the Here For You dies, and these are like heartfelt. If somebody's sick or going through a hard time, you don't know what to put. There's 3 great word dies here, and they're kind of stacked together. I love that when you die cut them, it's all one piece, So I did 3 out of Juniper, and I'm stacking these up because dimension is life. So I'm going to stack up 3 Juniper, and then I'm going to glue them on a sea glass shadow backer. And I went round and around about the colors. I thought about doing black and white. Initially, I was going to do black and white. My go-to is to do matte gold onto a vellum shadow backer. But today I felt like, you know what? Switch it up. Switch it up, Laura Fedora. Do Juniper on sea glass. Okay, little foam tape. I trimmed this panel down quite a bit to give a nice thick white border. Another reason why I trimmed it down quite a bit is because I'm going to pop this sentiment right in the middle, and I want to have like an appropriate amount of space. You don't want to have a small little word die on a huge background. It just feels like it's getting lost in there. You got to have like proportion. So that's what I was thinking. And then a little dewdrop action for embellishment. And this card is finished. I think it's just simple, classic blending with a stacked up word die and some dewdrops. You can never go wrong. I have another card I wanted to share. I didn't tape the making of it, but I'll tell you what I did. And this also uses some of her new November release products. This is the Easy Repeat Stitched Vines background stamp, and I stamped it with Pebble ink onto a pebble panel. And then for the Love You Lots, I used these new Lucky Alpha dies. I am a sucker for an alpha die set, and I like how they're tall and skinny. I did Honeysuckle, Poppy, Sorbet, Nectar, Buttercup, Clementine, Cayenne, Lemongrass, Artichoke, Eucalyptus, and Juniper. And I don't know how I just remembered those names. Okay, the little enamel heart. That is also Concord 9th. I will have a link. I think they're sold out, but maybe they'll come back in stock because those are cutie patootie. There's also the Lucky Alpha stamps that coordinate with the die. So you could stamp and then die cut it. I just use the dies alone. So there's a little versatility there. Stamp and die, just stamp, or just die. You can do whatever you want. These are some new November release products by Kristina Werner. Last time I showed Hank, today I'm showing Frank. He was cuddled up next to me, and this is what happens. This is what happens when I give Frank attention. Here comes Hank. I don't know what this is. Just letting everyone know that he is a sheriff in town. And then look at Frank's look. This is the look. He's like, I hate everyone. I really do. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Check out the new November release with Kristina Werner, available now at Concord 9th. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.